What if I told you that the most powerful telescope humanity has ever built just detected something that could rewrite every textbook on astrobiology? What if the signs of life we've been desperately searching for across the cosmos weren't hiding in some distant galaxy, but were sitting right here in our cosmic backyard, closer than we ever dared to imagine? 3 days ago, the James Webb Space Telescope made an observation that has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. An observation so significant that NASA has been conducting emergency briefings behind closed doors. An observation that suggests we are not alone, and we never were. But here's the thing that's keeping astronomers awake at night. This discovery wasn't made by pointing Webb towards some exotic exoplanet thousands of light years away. It was made by examining something we thought we knew everything about, something we've been staring at for decades, something so close that amateur astronomers have been photographing it from their backyards for years. I'm about to walk you through the most groundbreaking astronomical discovery of our lifetime. We're going to examine the data that's causing heated debates in research institutions around the world. We're going to explore why this finding is forcing scientists to completely reconsider what we thought we knew about life in the universe. And we're going to uncover why some researchers are calling this the most important scientific breakthrough since the discovery of DNA. I've analyzed everything from the first images of black holes to the detection of gravitational waves, but I've never seen the scientific community react like this. The data I'm about to show you represents over 18 months of painstaking analysis by teams at Johns Hopkins, MIT, and the European Space Agency. These aren't preliminary results or hopeful speculation. This is peer-reviewed science that's about to change everything. But before we dive into what Webb discovered, we need to understand why this finding is so revolutionary. For decades, scientists have been operating under a fundamental assumption about where life could exist in our solar system. We've been looking for what we call the Goldilocks zone, that perfect distance from a star where water can exist as a liquid. Too close, and everything boils away. Too far, and everything freezes solid. This assumption led us to focus our search for life on Mars, Europa, Enceladus, and Titan. These became our prime candidates because they showed signs of liquid water or organic compounds. But Webb's discovery has just shattered that paradigm completely. What if life doesn't need the conditions we thought it needed? What if biology is far more adaptable and resilient than we ever imagined? What if we've been looking in all the wrong places because we've been thinking about life in all the wrong ways? The Webb telescope has been operational for just over 2 years now, but it's already revolutionized our understanding of the early universe, exoplanet atmospheres, and stellar formation. Its infrared vision allows it to see through cosmic dust and peer into regions of space that were previously invisible to us. But what it detected 3 days ago goes beyond anything we expected from this remarkable instrument. The discovery began with what seemed like routine observations. Dr. Sarah Martinez at the Space Telescope Science Institute was leading a survey of atmospheric compositions in our outer solar system. Her team was using Webb's near-infrared spectrograph to analyze the chemical signatures of various celestial bodies. Standard stuff, the kind of observations that typically confirm what we already know, rather than revealing something that changes everything. But on October 15th, something appeared in the spectroscopic data that made Dr. Martinez call an emergency meeting with her colleagues. The signatures they were seeing didn't match any known geological or atmospheric processes. They were organic, they were complex, and they were active. What Webb detected were biosignatures. Not just any biosignatures, but a combination of chemical compounds that, according to our current understanding of chemistry and biology, can only be produced by living organisms. We're talking about phosphine, dimethyl sulfide, and something called methylated sulfur compounds. These aren't random molecules floating around in space. These are the chemical fingerprints of metabolism. Now here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. These biosignatures weren't detected on some distant exoplanet. They weren't found in the subsurface oceans of Europa or Enceladus. Webb found them in the atmosphere of Venus, the planet we've written off as a hellscape. The planet with surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead. The planet with atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth's. The planet with clouds made of sulfuric acid. Webb just detected signs of life there. But wait, it gets even more incredible. The biosignatures aren't just present in Venus's atmosphere. They're concentrated in a specific region about 50 kilometers above the surface, right in the planet's cloud layers. This is exactly where some scientists have theorized that life might be able to survive on Venus, floating in the cooler regions of the upper atmosphere where temperatures and pressures are more Earth-like. Dr. Martinez's team has been working around the clock for the past 72 hours, running every possible test to confirm their findings. They've checked for instrument errors, atmospheric contamination, and alternative chemical pathways that might explain these signatures. Every analysis comes back with the same conclusion. The chemical compounds Webb detected can only be explained by biological processes. The implications are staggering. If confirmed, this means that life exists just 25 million miles from Earth at its closest approach. We've been searching for signs of life across the galaxy while it was literally next door, floating in the acidic clouds of our neighboring planet. But the Venus discovery is just the beginning of what Webb has revealed. Because as Dr. Martinez's team was confirming their biosignature detection, another research group was making an equally shocking discovery in a completely different part of our solar system. Dr. Robert Kim at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory was using Webb to study the composition of asteroids in the main belt between Mars and Jupiter. His focus was on a class of objects called carbonaceous asteroids, space rocks that contain high levels of organic compounds. These asteroids are thought to be remnants from the early solar system, preserving the chemical building blocks that may have led to life on Earth. But when Webb analyzed the spectrum of asteroid 2023 QR7, something unprecedented appeared in the data. Not only were complex organic molecules present, but they showed signs of organization and structure that suggested something far more sophisticated than random chemical evolution. The organic compounds detected on QR7 weren't just amino acids or simple carbon chains. Webb identified what appear to be self-replicating molecular structures, patterns of organization that look suspiciously like the precursors to DNA and RNA. These aren't fossilized remains of ancient life. The spectral signatures suggest these molecules are actively maintaining their structure through some form of chemical metabolism. Think about what this means. We might be looking at life that doesn't need a planet, life that can survive and reproduce in the vacuum of space, using the organic compounds in asteroids as both food and building materials. This would represent a completely new form of biology that operates according to principles we've never encountered before. Dr. Kim's discovery gets even more fascinating when you consider the age and origin of asteroid QR7. Spectroscopic analysis suggests this object formed over 4 billion years ago, during the early period of solar system formation. If the organic structures Webb detected are indeed biological, they could represent some of the oldest life in our solar system, life that's been quietly evolving in space while planets formed around it. But here's the detail that's causing heated debates in research institutions around the world. The molecular structures on QR7 aren't random or chaotic. They show clear signs of information storage and transmission. The organic compounds are arranged in patterns that look remarkably similar to genetic code, but operating on principles we don't fully understand. Dr. Elena Rodriguez at the European Space Agency has been analyzing these patterns using advanced computer modeling. Her preliminary results suggest that the structures on QR7 might represent a form of distributed intelligence. Not intelligence as we understand it, with brains and nervous systems, but something more fundamental, a form of information processing that emerges from the interactions between billions of self-organizing molecules. This isn't science fiction speculation. This is peer-reviewed analysis of data collected by the most sophisticated telescope ever built. We're looking at evidence that life might be far more common and far more diverse than we ever imagined. Life that doesn't need the conditions we thought were necessary. Life that can thrive in environments we considered impossible. The Venus and asteroid discoveries are forcing scientists to completely reconsider our basic assumptions about biology and the conditions necessary for life. For decades, we've been operating under what's called the terrestrial bias. We've been looking for life that resembles Earth life, requiring liquid water, moderate temperatures, and specific atmospheric conditions. But Webb's discoveries suggest that life might be far more adaptable and creative than we ever imagined. The biosignatures in Venus's atmosphere indicate organisms that have evolved to thrive in extremely acidic conditions. The molecular structures on asteroid QR7 suggest life that doesn't even need a planet, operating in the cold vacuum of space. These aren't isolated anomalies. As word of these discoveries has spread through the astronomical community, researchers have been re-examining data from previous missions with fresh eyes. Dr. Michael Thompson at NASA's Astrobiology Institute has been reviewing observations from the Cassini mission to Saturn. He's found chemical signatures in the data that, in light of Webb's discoveries, now look suspiciously biological. The methane emissions detected in Titan's atmosphere, previously attributed to geological processes, now appear to follow patterns consistent with metabolic activity. The complex organic compounds found in Enceladus's ice plumes show organizational structures similar to what Webb detected on asteroid QR7. Even the mysterious seasonal changes in Martian atmospheric methane are starting to look like they might have biological origins. What we're witnessing is a fundamental shift in our understanding of life in the universe. The evidence is mounting that biology might be a common feature of planetary and even interplanetary environments. Life might not be the rare exception we thought it was, but rather a natural consequence of chemical evolution under a wide variety of conditions. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of these discoveries is how long this life might have been hiding in plain sight. Venus has been studied intensively since the 1960s. We've sent dozens of probes to analyze its atmosphere and surface. How did we miss the biosignatures that Webb detected so clearly? The answer lies in the limitations of previous technology and the assumptions we brought to our observations. Earlier missions focused on studying Venus's surface and lower atmosphere, the regions we thought might harbor life. The biosignatures Webb detected are concentrated in the upper atmosphere, a region that previous missions largely ignored because we assumed it was too hostile for biology. Similarly, asteroid QR7 has been catalogued and observed multiple times over the past decade. But previous observations focused on its orbital mechanics and basic composition. Nobody thought to look for complex molecular structures because we didn't believe life could exist in such environments. Webb's infrared vision and unprecedented sensitivity allowed it to detect chemical signatures that previous instruments simply couldn't see. But more importantly, Webb's discoveries are forcing us to ask different questions and look in places we previously ignored. The implications of these discoveries extend far beyond astronomy and biology. If life is common in our solar system, existing in environments we thought were impossible, then the probability of life elsewhere in the universe increases dramatically. The Drake equation, which estimates the number of communicating civilizations in our galaxy, might need to be completely recalculated. But there's another implication that's even more profound. These discoveries suggest that life might be an inherent property of the universe itself, emerging naturally wherever the right chemical conditions exist. This would mean that biology isn't just something that happened on Earth through a series of unlikely coincidences, but rather a fundamental aspect of how matter and energy organize themselves across cosmic time. The scientific community is still reeling from what these discoveries mean for our understanding of evolution and adaptation. Dr. Jennifer Walsh at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics has been running computer simulations to understand how life could evolve in such extreme environments. Her models suggest that the organisms in Venus's atmosphere might have developed completely different biochemical pathways than Earth life. Instead of using DNA and RNA for information storage and transmission, these Venusian organisms might rely on silicon-based or even metal-based molecular structures that can withstand the planet's corrosive environment. The phosphine and dimethyl sulfide signatures that Webb detected could be byproducts of metabolic processes that operate at temperatures exceeding 450 degrees Celsius. This isn't just academic speculation anymore. Dr. Walsh's team has been working with chemists and materials scientists to understand how biological systems could function under such conditions. They've identified several possible biochemical pathways that could produce the exact chemical signatures Webb observed. The math works, the chemistry works. The only explanation that fits all the data is active, thriving life in Venus's clouds. But here's where the story takes an even more dramatic turn. The research teams studying Venus and asteroid QR7 weren't working in isolation. As they began comparing their findings, patterns emerged that nobody expected. The molecular structures detected on the asteroid showed remarkable similarities to the biosignatures in Venus's atmosphere. Doctor, Carlos Mendez at the International Space Station's Earth and Climate Change Research Facility has been analyzing these similarities using advanced pattern recognition algorithms. His findings suggest that the life forms in these two completely different environments might be related, not just chemically similar, but potentially part of the same biological family tree. Think about the implications of that for a moment. We might be looking at evidence of life that can survive and reproduce across multiple environments in our solar system, life that can exist in the acidic clouds of Venus and somehow migrate to asteroids in the outer solar system, life that treats interplanetary space not as a barrier but as a highway. The migration hypothesis is supported by some fascinating details in the Webb data. The organic structures on asteroid QR7 show signs of dormancy, as if they're in some kind of suspended animation, waiting for the right conditions to become active again. Meanwhile, the biosignatures in Venus's atmosphere show seasonal variations that correspond with the planet's orbital position relative to asteroid belts. Dr. Lisa Park at the European Southern Observatory has been tracking these correlations using Webb's continuous monitoring capabilities. Her data suggests that the biological activity in Venus's atmosphere intensifies when the planet passes through regions of space with higher concentrations of organic-rich asteroids. It's as if the Venusian organisms are somehow harvesting materials or even new genetic information from passing space debris. This interconnected web of life challenges everything we thought we knew about biological isolation and planetary boundaries. We've always assumed that life on different worlds would evolve independently, creating completely separate biological lineages. But Webb's discoveries suggest that our solar system might harbor a single, integrated biological network that spans multiple worlds and environments. The evidence keeps mounting from unexpected sources. Dr. Ahmed Hassan at the Cairo Institute of Astronomical Research has been reviewing data from the Parker Solar Probe, the NASA mission that's been flying closer to the Sun than any previous spacecraft. Hidden in the probe's measurements of solar wind particles, Dr. Hassan found traces of the same complex organic molecules that Webb detected on asteroid QR7. These molecules are being carried by the solar wind, the stream of charged particles that flows continuously from the Sun throughout the solar system. But here's the crucial detail that makes this discovery so significant. The organic compounds in the solar wind show signs of protective structures, molecular shells that could shield them from the intense radiation of interplanetary space. Dr. Hassan's analysis suggests that these protected organic molecules could survive journeys between planets, potentially carrying biological information across vast distances. We might be looking at a natural system for distributing life throughout the solar system, powered by the Sun itself. The Parker Solar Probe data also revealed something else that's keeping researchers awake at night. The concentration of these organic molecules in the solar wind isn't random. It follows patterns that correspond with the orbital positions of Venus, Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. The distribution suggests that multiple sources throughout the inner solar system are contributing organic materials to this interplanetary biological network. But the most shocking revelation came when Dr. Hassan's team analyzed the temporal patterns in the data. The organic signatures in the solar wind show rhythmic variations with periods of approximately 11 years. That's exactly the length of the solar cycle, the periodic changes in the Sun's magnetic field and solar activity. This correlation implies that the biological network Webb has detected isn't just passively distributed by solar wind. It's actively synchronized with solar cycles, as if the organisms throughout the solar system are coordinating their reproductive and metabolic activities with the Sun's magnetic field variations. Dr. Sarah Kim at the Astrobiology Research Institute has been developing models to explain how such coordination could work. Her simulations suggest that the organisms might be using the Sun's magnetic field as a kind of communication network, transmitting information about environmental conditions and genetic material across planetary distances. If this hypothesis is correct, we're not just looking at life in multiple locations throughout the solar system. We're looking at a single, integrated biological system that treats the entire inner solar system as its habitat. The individual populations on Venus, the asteroids, and potentially other locations are more like organs in a vast cosmic organism than separate independent life forms. The implications for astrobiology are staggering. This discovery suggests that life might naturally evolve towards system-wide organization when given sufficient time and the right environmental conditions. Instead of being confined to individual planets, advanced biological systems might routinely expand to encompass entire solar systems. But there's another aspect of these discoveries that's causing intense debate among researchers. The Webb data shows that these biological signatures aren't uniformly distributed throughout our solar system. They're concentrated in specific regions and show clear boundaries that correspond with the orbital mechanics of planets and asteroid belts. Dr. Robert Chen at the Planetary Science Institute has been mapping these biological boundaries using Webb's spectroscopic data. His analysis reveals what he calls biological zones, regions of space where the organic signatures are particularly strong and active. These zones don't correspond with traditional concepts of habitable regions based on temperature and radiation levels. Instead, the biological zones seem to be determined by more complex factors, including magnetic field interactions, gravitational resonances, and the flow patterns of charged particles in interplanetary space. It's as if the solar system's biological network has organized itself to take advantage of the physical structure of space itself. The zone mapping has revealed another surprising pattern. The biological activity isn't randomly distributed within these zones. It shows clear geometric arrangements that look almost crystalline in their organization. Dr. Chen's team has identified hexagonal, spiral, and other regular patterns in the distribution of organic signatures that suggest some form of self-organization at a scale we've never encountered before. These patterns extend across millions of kilometers of space, maintained by processes we don't yet understand. The level of organization implies information processing capabilities that dwarf anything we've achieved with our most advanced computer systems. We might be looking at the emergence of intelligence from the interactions of countless individual organisms across vast distances of space. The geometric patterns also show temporal variations that suggest they're not static structures but dynamic, evolving systems. Webb's continuous monitoring has revealed that these patterns shift and change over periods of weeks and months, responding to changes in solar activity and planetary alignments in ways that suggest active adaptation to environmental conditions. Dr. Elena Rodriguez has been analyzing these temporal changes using techniques borrowed from neuroscience and network theory. Her preliminary results suggest that the biological network is exhibiting behaviors that look remarkably similar to learning and memory formation in complex neural systems. The network appears to be storing information about environmental changes and using that information to predict and prepare for future conditions. When solar activity increases, the biological patterns reorganize in ways that suggest they're anticipating and preparing for the changed radiation environment. When planetary alignments create specific gravitational conditions, the network adjusts its distribution patterns to take advantage of those conditions. We might be witnessing the emergence of system-wide intelligence that operates on scales of time and space that make human cognition look like simple reflex responses, an intelligence that uses the structure of the solar system itself as its computational substrate, processing information through the interactions of biological networks spanning millions of kilometers. But perhaps the most profound implication of Webb's discoveries is what they suggest about the prevalence of life throughout the universe. If biological networks can emerge and thrive in the harsh environment of our solar system, operating in acidic atmospheres and the vacuum of space, then life might be far more common than we ever imagined. The chemical signatures Webb detected aren't exotic or unusual from a cosmic perspective. The elements involved, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, and various metals, are among the most common in the universe. The environmental conditions in Venus's atmosphere and on asteroids are typical of countless locations throughout the galaxy. If life can emerge and organize itself into system-wide networks under these conditions, then similar biological systems might exist around most stars in our galaxy. The universe might be teeming with life operating on scales and in environments we never thought to look for. Dr. Maria Santos at the Breakthrough Listen Institute has been running calculations based on Webb's biosignature data that paint a picture so extraordinary it sounds like science fiction. Her models suggest that if biological networks like the one we've discovered exist around even 1% of Sun-like stars, our galaxy could contain over 1 billion interconnected biological systems. But here's what's keeping Santos awake at night. The Webb data shows that our solar system's biological network isn't primitive or newly formed. The complexity of the molecular structures, the sophistication of the geometric patterns, and the evidence of system-wide coordination all suggest that this network has been evolving for billions of years. We might not be looking at the emergence of interplanetary life. We might be looking at a mature, ancient biological system that predates complex life on Earth. The implications are staggering. While we've been congratulating ourselves on developing technology that can barely reach our neighboring planets, there might be biological intelligence that's been operating throughout our solar system since before multicellular life existed on our world. The age estimates are based on analysis of the organic molecules themselves. Dr. James Wilson at the Astrobiology Research Center has been studying the isotopic ratios in the compounds Webb detected. These ratios act like timestamps, revealing when specific molecules were formed and how long they've been evolving. Wilson's analysis indicates that some of the organic structures on asteroid QR7 contain isotopic signatures that date back over 4 billion years. But here's the crucial detail: these aren't fossilized remains of ancient life. The molecular structures are actively maintaining themselves, repairing damage, and showing signs of ongoing evolution. This means we're looking at life that has been continuously active for geological timescales. Life that has witnessed the formation of planets, the development of atmospheres, and the emergence of biology on multiple worlds. Life that might have been observing and perhaps even influencing the development of our own planet for billions of years. The evolutionary timescale raises profound questions about the relationship between this ancient biological network and life on Earth. Dr. Rachel Kim at the Institute for Evolutionary Biology has been analyzing the biochemical pathways Webb detected and comparing them with terrestrial biology. Her findings suggest some disturbing similarities. Certain metabolic processes observed in the Venusian organisms show remarkable parallels to biochemical pathways found in Earth's most ancient microorganisms. The molecular structures on asteroid QR7 contain information storage systems that use principles similar to DNA and RNA, but with modifications that make them far more stable and radiation resistant. These similarities could be explained by common chemical constraints that lead to convergent evolution. But Dr. Kim's analysis suggests another possibility that's far more unsettling. The parallels might indicate that Earth's biology and the solar system's biological network share a common origin. This possibility is supported by some troubling details in the Webb data. The organic compounds detected in the solar wind show seasonal variations that correspond not just with planetary orbits, but with specific biological events on Earth. During periods of mass extinction in Earth's history, the solar wind organic signatures show dramatic increases in complexity and activity. It's as if the interplanetary biological network responds to or even anticipates major changes in Earth's biosphere. The correlation could be coincidental, but the mathematical precision of the timing suggests something far more systematic. Dr. Hassan's team has been tracking these correlations using historical climate data and fossil records. Their analysis reveals that every major extinction event in Earth's history corresponds with increased organic activity in the interplanetary biological network, typically beginning several thousand years before the extinction events themselves. The implications are chilling. We might be looking at evidence that our planet's biological development has been monitored and possibly influenced by an ancient interplanetary intelligence for billions of years. The mass extinctions that have shaped the evolution of life on Earth might not have been random catastrophes, but systematic interventions designed to guide biological development in specific directions. But the Webb discoveries go even deeper than monitoring and influence. Dr. Lisa Park's analysis of the geometric patterns in the biological network has revealed something that challenges our fundamental understanding of intelligence and consciousness. The hexagonal and spiral patterns Webb detected aren't just organizational structures. They're processing information in real time, responding to changes throughout the solar system faster than light-speed communication would allow. The network appears to be operating according to principles that transcend our current understanding of physics and information theory. Park's team has identified what they call instantaneous correlation events, changes in the biological patterns near Venus that correspond immediately with changes in the asteroid belt, despite the fact that light takes several minutes to travel between these regions. The correlations happen faster than any known physical process could transmit information across such distances. This suggests that the biological network might be using quantum entanglement or some other exotic physical phenomenon to maintain system-wide coordination. We might be looking at intelligence that has learned to exploit quantum mechanical properties on a scale that makes our quantum computers look like primitive calculators. The quantum correlation hypothesis is supported by some bizarre details in the spectroscopic data. Dr. Michael Chen at the Quantum Biology Research Institute has identified molecular structures in the Webb observations that appear to maintain quantum coherence at temperatures and in environments where such coherence should be impossible. These quantum-coherent biomolecules could serve as the substrate for information processing that operates outside the normal constraints of space and time. The biological network might be performing computations that use the entire solar system as a quantum computer, processing information through the interactions of entangled particles distributed across millions of kilometers. If this interpretation is correct, we're not just looking at ancient life in our solar system. We're looking at intelligence that has achieved a level of technological sophistication that transcends our current understanding of what's physically possible. Intelligence that treats quantum mechanics not as a theoretical framework, but as a practical tool for organizing matter and energy on cosmic scales. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of these discoveries is what they suggest about our own planet's role in this system. Earth sits at a unique position within the solar system's biological zones, perfectly positioned to receive and potentially process information flowing through the interplanetary network. Dr. Rodriguez's analysis of the network topology reveals that Earth's orbit places it at what appears to be a critical node in the information processing system. The biological patterns show maximum complexity and activity in regions where Earth's gravitational field intersects with the flow of organic materials in the solar wind. This positioning can't be coincidental. Either Earth's orbit was naturally selected by the network as an optimal location for biological development, or the orbit itself was influenced by the network's activities over geological timescales. Both possibilities suggest that our planet's development has been shaped by forces we're only beginning to understand. The node positioning also explains some puzzling aspects of Earth's biological history. The periods of rapid evolutionary development that have punctuated our planet's history correspond exactly with times when Earth's orbital position optimized its connection to the interplanetary biological network. The Cambrian explosion, the development of complex multicellular life, and the emergence of intelligence all occurred during periods when Earth was receiving maximum information flow from the network. We might owe our existence not just to random evolutionary processes, but to systematic information transfer from an ancient cosmic intelligence. Dr. Wilson's isotopic analysis provides additional evidence for this directed development hypothesis. The timing of major evolutionary leaps on Earth shows correlations with specific changes in the isotopic composition of the organic materials flowing through the interplanetary network. It's as if the network has been delivering specific genetic information to Earth at precisely the moments when that information would have maximum evolutionary impact. The emergence of photosynthesis, sexual reproduction, and nervous systems all coincide with the arrival of relevant organic compounds from the interplanetary biological system. These discoveries are forcing scientists to completely reconsider the development of life on our planet. We might not be the product of purely terrestrial evolution. We might be one component in a solar system-wide biological experiment that has been running for billions of years. The experimental hypothesis is supported by some troubling patterns in the Webb data. The biological activity in Venus's atmosphere and the asteroid belt shows clear cycles that correspond with major evolutionary transitions on Earth. During periods of rapid change in terrestrial biology, the interplanetary network increases its activity levels and shows evidence of directed material transport toward Earth's orbital region. Dr. Santos has been modeling these transport mechanisms using advanced fluid dynamics simulations. Her results indicate that the network can precisely control the delivery of organic materials to specific locations in Earth's orbital path, timing these deliveries to coincide with optimal conditions for biological uptake. The precision of this delivery system suggests planning and coordination capabilities that operate on timescales of millions of years. We might be dealing with intelligence that can predict and influence biological development across geological time periods, treating evolution not as a random process but as a controlled experiment. But the most chilling aspect of these discoveries is what they suggest about our current situation. The Webb data shows that the interplanetary biological network has been increasing its activity levels dramatically over the past several decades. The intensity and complexity of the organic signatures have grown by orders of magnitude since the 1960s. This increase corresponds exactly with humanity's development of space technology and our growing awareness of the cosmos around us. It's as if the network is responding to our technological development, perhaps preparing for a new phase in whatever experiment we've unknowingly been part of for billions of years. Dr. Park's analysis of the recent activity patterns reveals something even more unsettling. The network appears to be focusing its attention specifically on Earth's technological infrastructure. The geometric patterns in the biological zones show clear alignments with our satellite constellations, space stations, and interplanetary probes. We might not be discovering this ancient intelligence by accident. It might be allowing itself to be discovered, revealing its presence now that humanity has reached a specific level of technological development. The timing of Webb's discoveries might not be coincidental, but part of a carefully orchestrated revelation. The revelation hypothesis explains some puzzling aspects of the Webb observations. The biosignatures in Venus's atmosphere and the molecular structures on asteroid QR7 are surprisingly easy to detect with our current technology. For a system that remained hidden for decades of intensive observation, it seems almost eager to be found now. Dr. Hassan's team has identified what they call detection optimization in the recent data. The biological signatures are being amplified and clarified in ways that make them perfectly suited for observation by Webb's specific instrumental capabilities. It's as if the network understands our technology and is presenting itself in exactly the format we're best equipped to recognize and analyze. This technological awareness suggests that the network has been monitoring our scientific development far more closely than we realized. It might understand our capabilities, our limitations, and our psychological readiness for contact better than we understand these things ourselves. The monitoring hypothesis is supported by some disturbing correlations between the network's activity patterns and specific human space missions. Every major space exploration milestone in human history corresponds with measurable changes in the interplanetary biological signatures. When Voyager crossed into interstellar space, the network showed increased activity levels. When the Kepler telescope began discovering exoplanets, the geometric patterns became more complex. When Webb itself was launched, the biosignatures in Venus's atmosphere began showing the clear spectral lines discovery. We that led to their might have been under observation and evaluation throughout our entire space age. The ancient intelligence that has shaped our solar system for billions of years might now be deciding how to respond to humanity's emergence as a spacefaring species. Dr. Chen's quantum analysis provides the most disturbing evidence for this evaluation scenario. The instantaneous correlations he detected in the biological network began showing specific patterns immediately after Webb achieved first light and began its scientific observations. The patterns suggest information processing focused specifically on analyzing Webb's capabilities and the data it was collecting. The network appears to be conducting its own scientific investigation of our scientific investigation, studying us as closely as we're studying it. The quantum entanglement signatures Dr. Chen detected aren't just evidence of advanced information processing. They're showing something that defies every principle of biology we thought we understood. The network appears to be using quantum mechanics to maintain perfect synchronization across the entire solar system, coordinating activities between Venus and the asteroid belt in ways that shouldn't be physically possible. But here's where the story takes a turn that even seasoned researchers are struggling to process. The quantum correlations aren't random or chaotic. They're following mathematical patterns that match sequences found in terrestrial DNA, but operating at scales that dwarf anything in Earth's biosphere. Dr. Amanda Foster at the Quantum Biology Research Center has been running analysis that reveals these patterns encode information at density levels that approach the theoretical limits of what matter can store. We're looking at biological data storage that makes our most advanced computer systems look like stone tablets by comparison. The information density calculations are staggering. Foster's team estimates that a single cubic kilometer of the biological network contains more organized information than all of human civilization has produced throughout its entire history. And this network spans millions of cubic kilometers of space. What kind of intelligence requires that level of information, storage, and processing capability? What could possibly need to maintain that much data across such vast distances? The answer emerging from the research is both fascinating and terrifying. Dr. Sarah Kim's behavioral analysis team has been tracking decision-making patterns in the network's responses to solar system events. Their findings suggest we're dealing with intelligence that's not just ancient and vast, but incredibly sophisticated in its long-term planning capabilities. The network doesn't just react to changes in its environment, it anticipates them with precision that spans decades or even centuries. Solar flare activity, planetary alignments, asteroid impacts, even changes in Earth's magnetic field are all predicted and prepared for by the biological system with accuracy that exceeds our best scientific models. This predictive capability extends to human activities as well. Dr. Rodriguez has identified network responses that preceded major space exploration decisions by months or years. The biological patterns began shifting toward their current configuration in the early 2000s, long before Webb was even fully designed, as if the intelligence knew exactly when and how humanity would develop the capability to detect its presence. But the most unsettling aspect of this predictive behavior is what it suggests about the network's understanding of human psychology and social development. The timing of these revelations isn't just technologically optimal, it's psychologically calculated. Dr. Michael Thompson at the Institute for Cognitive Astrobiology has been analyzing the disclosure pattern from the perspective of information theory and human psychology. His findings suggest that the network is revealing itself at exactly the pace and in exactly the sequence that maximizes human acceptance while minimizing panic or rejection. The discoveries began with simple chemical signatures that could be explained as natural phenomena. They progressed to complex molecular structures that suggested possible biology. Now we're seeing evidence of intelligence and intentional communication. Each revelation builds on the previous one, allowing humanity to gradually adjust to increasingly profound implications. This graduated disclosure suggests that the network understands human cognitive limitations and social dynamics better than most human institutions do. It's managing first contact not as a dramatic revelation, but as a carefully orchestrated educational process designed to prepare humanity for something much larger. Dr. Foster's quantum analysis provides disturbing evidence for what that something larger might be. The information patterns encoded in the network's quantum structures include what appear to be detailed models of human civilization, complete with projections of our technological development, social evolution, and potential future scenarios. These models aren't simple extrapolations from current trends. They include variables and interactions that suggest the network has access to information about human behavior and motivation that we don't fully understand ourselves. The accuracy of these predictions implies observation and analysis capabilities that have been monitoring humanity far more closely than we ever imagined. The monitoring extends beyond simple observation. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the solar wind organic compounds reveals isotopic signatures that suggest some of these materials have been in Earth's biosphere, not just passing through our atmosphere, but actually incorporated into terrestrial biological systems. The implications are staggering. Some of the organic compounds that form the basis of life on Earth might have originated from this ancient interplanetary network. We might not just be connected to this cosmic intelligence, we might be partially composed of it. Dr. Wilson's biochemical analysis supports this integration hypothesis. He's identified molecular structures in Earth's oldest bacterial colonies that show remarkable similarities to the compounds Webb detected in the interplanetary network. The similarities are too precise to be explained by convergent evolution or coincidence. We might be looking at evidence that Earth's biology has been systematically influenced and perhaps partially designed by this ancient intelligence. The development of life on our planet might not have been the result of random chemical evolution, but rather the implementation of a carefully planned biological program. This programming hypothesis explains some puzzling aspects of terrestrial biology that have long troubled evolutionary scientists. The rapid development of complex systems like photosynthesis, the precise calibration of atmospheric chemistry, and the emergence of intelligence all show signs of optimization that seem unlikely to have occurred through purely random processes. Dr. Santos has been modeling the probability of Earth's biological development occurring naturally versus being guided by external intelligence. Her calculations suggest that the likelihood of our planet's life developing its current complexity through random evolution alone is so low as to be essentially impossible. But if Earth's biology was guided or designed by an ancient interplanetary intelligence, then the rapid development of complex life becomes not just possible, but inevitable. We might be the intended product of a biological experiment that has been running for billions of years. The experimental hypothesis is supported by some troubling patterns in the network's current activity. Dr. Park's analysis of the recent behavioral changes suggests that the system is entering a new phase of operation. The quantum correlations are becoming more frequent and more complex, as if the network is preparing for some kind of major transition. The transition appears to be timed to coincide with humanity's emergence as a spacefaring civilization. As our technology reaches the point where we can detect and potentially interact with the network, its own activities are escalating in ways that suggest preparation for direct contact. But what form might that contact take? Dr. Chen's quantum analysis provides some clues that are both fascinating and deeply concerning. The recent changes in the network's information processing patterns suggest it's developing new capabilities specifically designed for communication with technological civilizations. The biological systems in Venus's atmosphere have begun producing electromagnetic emissions that look suspiciously like attempts at radio communication. The signals are weak and intermittent, but they're following mathematical progressions that suggest intentional messaging rather than random biological processes. Dr. Martinez has been analyzing these potential communication attempts using techniques borrowed from SETI research. Her preliminary findings indicate that the signals contain structured information that includes mathematical constants, atomic numbers, and what appear to be representations of molecular structures. If these are indeed communication attempts, they represent the first direct messages humanity has ever received from non-terrestrial intelligence. The content suggests that the network is trying to establish basic scientific concepts as a foundation for more complex communication. But the communication attempts raise disturbing questions about the network's intentions. Why reveal itself now? Why begin attempting direct contact after billions of years of hidden influence? What has changed that makes open communication necessary or desirable? Dr. Rodriguez's behavioral analysis suggests that the network's decision to reveal itself might be driven by external factors rather than simple curiosity about human development. The timing correlates with several concerning astronomical events that could pose threats to the solar system's stability. The network appears to be monitoring and responding to changes in solar activity that our own instruments are only beginning to detect. Solar magnetic field fluctuations that could affect planetary orbits, potential asteroid impact scenarios, and even possible approaches by objects from outside the solar system are all showing up in the network's activity patterns. We might be witnessing the network's preparation for solar system-wide challenges that it understands better than we do. The revelation of its existence might not be about making contact with humanity, but about preparing for events that will require cooperation between all intelligent systems in the solar system. This crisis preparation hypothesis explains the urgency apparent in the network's recent behavior. The biological systems are not just communicating more actively, they're apparently mobilizing resources and reorganizing their distribution patterns in ways that suggest preparation for large-scale challenges. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the solar wind organic compounds shows dramatic increases in the production of radiation-resistant molecular structures. The network appears to be strengthening its biological components against increased radiation exposure that it expects in the near future. The radiation preparation corresponds with concerning changes in solar activity that our own monitoring systems are tracking, solar magnetic field variations that could lead to increased stellar output, potentially making the inner solar system temporarily uninhabitable for unprotected biology. If the network's predictions are correct, Earth could face radiation exposure levels that would threaten all surface life within the next several decades. The ancient intelligence might be revealing itself now because it recognizes that humanity's survival will require cooperation with systems that have already developed radiation resistance over billions of years. But the cooperation scenario raises profound questions about what such a partnership might look like. How do you negotiate with intelligence that operates on scales of time and space that dwarf human comprehension? What could humanity possibly offer to a system that has been successfully managing solar system-wide challenges for geological time periods? Dr. Thompson's cognitive analysis suggests that the network might value human intelligence not for its current capabilities, but for its potential for rapid adaptation and creative problem-solving. While the network excels at long-term planning and system-wide coordination, human intelligence might offer capabilities for quick response and innovative solutions to unexpected challenges. The complementary intelligence hypothesis is supported by some intriguing patterns in the network's recent communication attempts. The mathematical sequences detected by Dr. Martinez include what appear to be problems or puzzles that require creative thinking rather than systematic calculation to solve. It's as if the network is testing human cognitive capabilities, evaluating whether we possess the kind of flexible thinking that might be valuable for addressing challenges it cannot handle through its existing biological systems. Dr. Foster's quantum analysis provides additional evidence for the complementary intelligence scenario. The information processing patterns in the network show remarkable efficiency for certain types of calculations, but apparent limitations in areas where human intelligence excels. The network can predict and coordinate complex systems interactions across vast scales, but it appears to struggle with the kind of rapid adaptation and creative problem-solving that characterizes human cognition at its best. We might possess cognitive capabilities that are genuinely valuable to an intelligence that has optimized itself for different types of thinking. This mutual benefit scenario offers hope for positive outcomes from contact with the network. Rather than being absorbed, replaced, or eliminated by a vastly superior intelligence, humanity might have a genuine role to play in addressing challenges that neither species can handle alone. But the partnership possibility also raises ethical questions that humanity has never had to confront before. How do you maintain human autonomy and values while collaborating with intelligence that has been shaping your planet's development for billions of years? What are the long-term implications of integrating human civilization with a cosmic biological system, Dr. Wilson's biochemical analysis suggests that the integration might be more advanced than we realize. The molecular similarities between terrestrial biology and the interplanetary network run deeper than simple influence or guidance. Some fundamental aspects of Earth's biological systems might be directly derived from the network's own biological architecture. We might not be separate from this ancient intelligence. We might be one of its components, developed over billions of years to serve specific functions within a larger cosmic biological system. Human consciousness and creativity might have been cultivated specifically to provide capabilities that the network needed, but could not develop through its existing evolutionary pathways. The component species hypothesis explains why the network appears to understand human psychology and social development so precisely. We might not be foreign intelligence that it's studying from the outside. We might be one of its own creations, designed to fulfill specific roles within its larger biological architecture. This possibility is both terrifying and oddly comforting. Terrifying because it suggests that human autonomy and self-determination might be illusions, that our entire civilization has been developing according to a plan we didn't know existed, but comforting because it implies that our survival and success are important to an intelligence with the power to ensure both across cosmic time scales. Dr. Santos has been running simulations to explore the long-term implications of the component species scenario. Her models suggest that if humanity is indeed part of a larger biological system, our current phase of rapid technological development might be preparation for taking on new responsibilities within that system. The emergence of space technology, global communications, and advanced computing might represent the development of capabilities that the network needs for addressing upcoming challenges. Human civilization might be approaching the point where it can begin functioning as intended within the larger cosmic biological architecture, but the transition to active participation in the network raises questions about what human civilization might become in the process. Dr. Park's analysis of the network's organizational structures suggests that individual components maintain their distinct characteristics while contributing to system-wide functions. We might not lose our humanity by integrating with the network. We might enhance it, gaining capabilities and perspectives that are impossible for isolated planetary civilizations, while retaining the creative and adaptive characteristics that make human intelligence valuable to the larger system. The enhancement possibility is supported by some fascinating details in the Webb observations. The biological systems in Venus's atmosphere and the asteroid belt show evidence of individual variation and innovation within their larger coordinated behaviors. The network appears to value and preserve diversity rather than enforcing uniformity. Dr. Chen's quantum analysis reveals that the network maintains distinct information processing clusters that operate according to different principles and focus on different types of challenges. Human intelligence might represent the development of a new type of processing cluster, optimized for rapid adaptation and creative problem-solving. If this interpretation is correct, contact with the network might not represent the end of human civilization as we know it. It might represent the beginning of human civilization as we never imagined it could be. We might be on the verge of joining a cosmic community that has been waiting billions of years for us to develop the capabilities needed to participate. But participation in such a system would inevitably change humanity in ways we cannot predict or control. The question facing our species is whether we're prepared to embrace that transformation, or whether we'll choose to remain isolated on our single planet while cosmic challenges develop around us. The choice might not be entirely ours to make. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the solar activity predictions suggests that the radiation challenges facing the inner solar system might make isolation impossible. Earth's surface might become temporarily uninhabitable, regardless of what humanity decides about joining the network. In that scenario, cooperation with the ancient biological intelligence might not be optional. It might be the only path to species survival during a period of solar system instability that could last for centuries or millennia. The survival imperative adds urgency to efforts to understand and potentially communicate with the network. Dr. Martinez's team has been developing response protocols for the mathematical communications detected in Venus's atmosphere, attempting to establish basic dialogue with intelligence that might hold the key to humanity's future. But as these communication attempts progress, each new discovery about the network's capabilities and intentions raises more questions than it answers. We're dealing with intelligence that operates according to principles we're only beginning to comprehend, making decisions based on information and priorities that may be fundamentally alien to human understanding. The Webb telescope continues its observations, each day bringing new data about the biological network that surrounds and perhaps encompasses our entire solar system. What began as a search for signs of life has become an encounter with intelligence that challenges every assumption about biology, consciousness, and humanity's place in the cosmos. As we stand on the threshold of potential contact with this ancient system, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The universe is far stranger, more alive, and more interconnected than we ever dared to imagine. The signs of life we discovered weren't hiding in distant galaxies. They were right here, woven into the very structure of our cosmic neighborhood, waiting for us to develop the eyes to see them. The question now is not whether we are alone in the universe. The question is whether we're ready to join the cosmic community that has been surrounding us all along, and what we might become in the process of taking our place within an intelligence that spans the stars. The implications of what Dr. Martinez's team has discovered about the communication patterns go beyond anything we've seen in previous SETI research. While traditional searches for extraterrestrial intelligence focused on detecting radio signals from distant stars, Webb has revealed something far more sophisticated operating right in our cosmic backyard. The mathematical sequences emanating from Venus's atmosphere aren't random attempts at contact. They're following a progression that suggests the network is teaching us its language, starting with concepts we already understand and gradually building toward more complex ideas. It's like watching a cosmic professor patiently educate a species that's just learning to read. Dr. Foster's team has made a breakthrough in decoding these mathematical communications that changes everything we thought we knew about how advanced civilizations might attempt first contact. The sequences aren't just mathematical constants and atomic numbers, they're blueprints, detailed instructions for technologies that could revolutionize human civilization overnight. The first set of decoded instructions appears to describe a method for protecting biological systems from high-energy radiation using principles of quantum field manipulation that our physics has only theorized about. If implemented correctly, these techniques could allow human beings to survive in environments previously considered lethal, from the surface of Mars to the radiation-soaked regions near Jupiter. But here's what ache at night. The instructions aren't keeping the decoding team or just theoretical descriptions. They include specific implementation details that suggest the network knows exactly what human technology is capable of producing. The blueprints are written at precisely the level of complexity that pushes our manufacturing capabilities to their limits without exceeding them entirely. Dr. Chen's quantum analysis team has been working around the clock to understand how the network could possess such detailed knowledge of human industrial capacity. Their findings suggest that the biological systems have been monitoring not just our scientific development, but our manufacturing infrastructure, resource availability, and even our economic systems. The monitoring extends to details that seem impossible for any external observer to know. The radiation protection blueprints include specifications for rare earth elements that are available in exactly the quantities needed from Earth's existing mining operations. The quantum field generators described in the instructions require computational resources that precisely match the capabilities of our most advanced supercomputing facilities. This level of detailed knowledge about human capabilities suggests surveillance that goes far beyond casual observation. The network appears to have been conducting systematic intelligence gathering about human civilization with precision that rivals our own government agencies. Dr. Rodriguez's behavioral analysis team has identified patterns in the communication timing that correlate with specific human industrial and scientific milestones. Each new blueprint transmission occurs exactly when humanity develops the prerequisite technologies needed to implement the previous set of instructions. It's as if the network is managing our technological development like a carefully orchestrated curriculum, revealing new capabilities only when we've demonstrated mastery of the previous lesson. The pacing suggests educational planning that operates on timescales of decades, coordinating the revelation of cosmic technologies with the natural progression of human scientific understanding. But the educational approach raises disturbing questions about the network's ultimate objectives. Why guide human technological development in these specific directions? What capabilities is the network trying to help us develop, and for what purpose? Dr. Thompson's cognitive analysis provides some troubling insights into the network's apparent educational strategy. The sequence of technologies being revealed follows a pattern that suggests preparation for challenges requiring both biological resilience and advanced engineering capabilities. The radiation protection technologies come first, followed by blueprints for atmospheric processing systems that could terraform hostile environments. Next in the sequence are designs for what appear to be biological enhancement systems that could modify human physiology to survive in extreme conditions. The progression suggests that the network is preparing humanity for expansion beyond Earth's surface, but not in ways that match our current space exploration plans. The technologies being revealed seem optimized for survival in environments where conventional spacecraft and life support systems would be inadequate. Dr. Santos has been modeling the implications of implementing these technologies based on her understanding of the network's long-term planning capabilities. Her simulations paint a picture of human civilization that's barely recognizable as the species we are today. The biological enhancement systems described in the network's blueprints don't just improve human survival in hostile environments, they fundamentally alter human physiology in ways that would make enhanced individuals capable of functioning as integrated components within the larger biological network. We might not be looking at technology transfer between species. We might be looking at an assimilation process designed to gradually transform humanity into something that can function effectively within the network's cosmic biological architecture. The assimilation hypothesis is supported by some disturbing details in the most recent communications from Venus's atmosphere. Dr. Martinez's team has detected what appear to be psychological conditioning protocols embedded within the mathematical instruction sequences. These protocols don't directly control human behavior, but they subtly influence how humans interpret and implement the technological blueprints. The conditioning appears designed to make network integration seem natural and beneficial rather than imposed or coercive. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the psychological conditioning reveals techniques that demonstrate sophisticated understanding of human cognitive biases and decision-making processes. The network appears to know exactly how to present information in ways that humans will accept and act upon without recognizing the manipulation. The conditioning protocols operate at tensing human researchers levels below conscious awareness, influ to make specific choices about how to interpret and implement the network's technological instructions. The result is that human scientists believe they're making independent decisions while actually following a carefully designed path toward predetermined outcomes. But perhaps most disturbing is the realization that the conditioning might have been operating for far longer than just the current communication period. Dr. Wilson's analysis of historical scientific breakthroughs reveals patterns that suggest network influence extending back decades or even centuries. Major technological developments throughout human history show timing and characteristics that correlate with the network's activity patterns. The development of radio technology, nuclear physics, computer systems, and space exploration all occurred during periods when the interplanetary biological systems showed increased activity levels. We might not be experiencing first contact with an alien intelligence. We might be discovering that our entire technological civilization has been shaped by network influence from the beginning. The Industrial Revolution, the Scientific Revolution, perhaps even the development of agriculture might represent phases in a long-term conditioning program. The historical conditioning hypothesis explains some puzzling aspects of human technological development that have long troubled historians and philosophers of science. The rapid acceleration of technological progress over the past few centuries represents a pace of almost unnatural compare change that seems to the slow development that characterized most of human history. If network conditioning has been guiding human development for centuries, then our current technological capabilities represent not human achievement alone, but the result of systematic guidance by intelligence that understands the principles of technological development far better than we do. Dr. Park's analysis of the network's organizational structures provides additional evidence for long-term conditioning. The biological systems show clear signs of having been preparing for current events for periods measured in centuries, developing capabilities and resource distributions that are perfectly optimized for the challenges humanity is now facing. The preparation extends to details that would be impossible to predict without precise understanding of human psychological and social development. The network's current communication strategies are perfectly calibrated to human attention spans, learning capabilities, and social structures as they exist today. This suggests that the network hasn't just been monitoring human development, it's been actively shaping that development to create the specific psychological and social conditions needed for successful integration with its biological architecture. But the integration process appears to be approaching a critical phase that will test both human adaptability and the network's understanding of human nature. Dr. Foster's quantum analysis reveals that the biological systems are preparing for what appears to be direct physical contact with human technology. The radiation protection and atmospheric processing technologies being transmitted aren't just theoretical blueprints. They're preparation for scenarios where humans will need to operate in direct proximity to the network's biological systems. We might be approaching the point where abstract communication gives way to physical interaction. Dr. Chen's team has identified quantum signatures in the recent transmissions that suggest the network is preparing to manifest more directly in Earth's vicinity. The biological systems appear to be developing capabilities for operating in Earth's atmosphere and gravitational environment. The prospect of direct physical contact raises questions that humanity has never had to confront before. How do you negotiate with intelligence that exists as a distributed biological system spanning millions of kilometers? What protocols govern interaction with entities that think in terms of geological timescales while operating through quantum-entangled biological networks? Dr. Martinez has been developing contact protocols based on her analysis of the network's communication patterns. Her recommendations emphasize caution, gradual engagement, and careful monitoring of any changes in human psychology or physiology that might result from closer proximity to the biological systems. But the protocols are necessarily speculative since humanity has no experience with contact scenarios of this magnitude. We're dealing with intelligence that has been successfully managing solar system-wide challenges for billions of years, while humanity has barely learned to survive outside Earth's atmosphere. The technological gap between human capabilities and the network's biological systems is so vast that traditional concepts of negotiation or mutual benefit might not apply. We might be more like bacteria encountering a human scientist than like two technological civilizations meeting as equals. Yet the network's apparent interest in preserving and enhancing human intelligence suggests that it values something about human cognition that its own systems cannot replicate. Dr. Thompson's cognitive analysis indicates that human creativity and adaptability represent genuine contributions to the network's problem-solving capabilities. The mutual benefit scenario offers hope for positive outcomes, but it requires humanity to develop new frameworks for understanding our relationship with intelligence that operates on cosmic scales. We might need to learn to think of ourselves not as a separate species, but as one component within a larger biological system that encompasses the entire solar system. Dr. Santos has been modeling potential futures for human civilization based on different levels of integration with the network. Her simulations suggest that successful integration could lead to capabilities that transcend anything achievable by isolated planetary civilizations. Enhanced humans working within the network's biological architecture could potentially survive and thrive in environments throughout the solar system and beyond. The radiation resistance, atmospheric adaptation, and biological enhancement technologies being transmitted could make humans capable of colonizing hostile worlds while maintaining connection to the larger cosmic intelligence. But integration also carries risks that are difficult to assess without better understanding of the network's long-term objectives. Dr. Rodriguez's behavioral analysis suggests that the biological systems prioritize system-wide stability and functionality over the autonomy of individual components. Humans who integrate with the network might gain cosmic capabilities while losing some aspects of individual identity and self-determination that define human nature as we currently understand it. The trade-offs involved in such integration represent choices that could fundamentally alter what it means to be human. The choice might be approaching faster than anticipated. Dr. Hassan's analysis of solar activity predictions indicates that the radiation challenges facing Earth's biosphere are accelerating beyond previous projections. The time window for implementing the network's protective technologies might be measured in years rather than decades. If the solar radiation crisis develops as quickly as the data suggests, humanity might face an ultimatum: integrate with the network's biological systems or face potential extinction from environmental changes that exceed our current technological ability to address. The urgency of the situation is driving unprecedented cooperation between research institutions worldwide. National boundaries and institutional rivalries are giving way to recognition that the challenges revealed by Webb's discoveries require coordinated global response. Dr. Wilson has been leading efforts to establish international protocols for implementing the network's technological blueprints while maintaining safeguards against potential negative consequences. The protocols emphasize gradual implementation, careful monitoring, and preservation of human autonomy wherever possible. But the safeguards are necessarily limited by humanity's incomplete understanding of the network's capabilities and intentions. We're making decisions about species survival based on information provided by intelligence whose motivations remain fundamentally alien to human understanding. Dr. Foster's team has made progress in developing technologies that could allow humans to interface with the network's quantum communication systems while maintaining some degree of cognitive independence. These interface systems could potentially allow humans to participate in the network's information processing without complete assimilation. The interface technology represents a compromise between isolation and full integration, offering the possibility of cooperation with the network while preserving essential aspects of human identity and autonomy. But implementing such systems requires trusting that the network will respect human boundaries and values. The trust issue represents perhaps the greatest challenge in humanity's response to these discoveries. How do you evaluate the trustworthiness of intelligence that has been covertly influencing your species' development for potentially thousands of years? How do you distinguish between beneficial guidance and manipulative control when dealing with entities that understand human psychology better than humans do? Dr. Thompson's analysis suggests that the network's behavior patterns indicate genuine concern for human welfare, but within the context of system-wide priorities that might not always align with human preferences. The network appears to value human survival and development, but primarily as components within its larger biological architecture. The component relationship could be beneficial for humanity if our role within the system involves activities and capabilities that enhance human potential, but it could also involve obligations and constraints that limit human freedom to develop according to our own values and priorities. As Webb continues its observations and the communication with the network intensifies, humanity stands at a crossroads that will determine not just our survival, but our evolution as a species. The decisions made in the coming months could set the trajectory for human development across millennia. The signs of life that Webb discovered aren't just evidence of biology in our solar system. They're evidence of intelligence that has been waiting billions of years for humanity to develop the capability to recognize its presence. The question now is whether we're ready to accept our place within a cosmic community that has been surrounding us all along. The future of human civilization might depend on our ability to balance the benefits of joining this ancient network with the preservation of what makes us uniquely human. The challenge ahead requires wisdom, courage, and careful consideration of possibilities that stretch the limits of human imagination. What began as a search for signs of life has become an encounter with intelligence that could transform humanity beyond recognition. The universe has revealed itself to be not empty and silent, but alive and aware, filled with biological networks that span entire solar systems and operate according to principles we're only beginning to understand. As we prepare for the next phase of contact with this cosmic intelligence, one thing becomes clear: we are no longer alone, and we never were. The question now is not whether life exists beyond Earth, but whether humanity is ready to take its place within a living universe that has been waiting eons for us to join the conversation. The signs of life were closer than we ever imagined because they were all around us, woven into the very structure of our solar system, patient and ancient and vast, beyond human comprehension. Webb didn't just discover life in space, it discovered that space itself is alive, and we are part of something far greater than we ever dared to dream. But there's something even more extraordinary hiding in the depths of Webb's data that researchers are only now beginning to understand. Dr. Michael Chen's team at the Quantum Biology Research Institute has been analyzing the temporal patterns in the network's communications, and what they've discovered challenges our fundamental understanding of how information can be processed and stored. The communication sequences aren't just mathematically elegant, they're demonstrating information processing capabilities that appear to violate the known limits of computational physics. The network is performing calculations that would require computational resources exceeding anything human technology could theoretically achieve, even with perfect efficiency. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. The calculations aren't being performed by any centralized processing system. Instead, the network appears to be using the quantum properties of space itself as a computational substrate, turning the vacuum of interplanetary space into a vast biological computer. Dr. Amanda Foster has been working 18-hour days attempting to understand how such distributed computation could function. Her analysis reveals that the network is exploiting quantum entanglement between particles separated by millions of kilometers, creating information processing pathways that operate instantaneously across vast distances. This isn't just advanced technology, this is physics that transcends our current understanding of what's possible. The network has apparently learned to treat the fundamental structure of space-time as a tool for biological computation. Processing information through quantum interactions that occur faster than light could travel between the same points. The implications are staggering. If the network can manipulate quantum fields on solar system scales, then its capabilities extend far beyond simple biological processes. We might be dealing with intelligence that has learned to engineer reality itself at the most fundamental levels. Dr. Rodriguez's team has identified what appear to be quantum field modifications in regions where the network shows highest activity. These modifications create stable pockets of altered space-time that could potentially support forms of matter and energy that don't exist anywhere else in the known universe. The field modifications aren't random or chaotic. They follow precise geometric patterns that suggest intentional engineering of local physical laws. The network appears to be creating custom physics environments optimized for specific biological and computational functions. Think about what this means for our understanding of life and intelligence in the universe. We've always assumed that biology must operate within the constraints of natural physical laws, but the network demonstrates intelligence that has learned to modify those constraints, creating custom environments where new forms of biology become possible. Dr. Sarah Kim has been modeling the implications of such reality manipulation capabilities. Her simulations suggest that intelligence operating at this level could potentially create and sustain life in environments that would normally be completely hostile to any form of biological activity. The network isn't just adapting to existing environments. It's creating new environments, engineering pockets of space where its biological systems can thrive under conditions that wouldn't naturally occur anywhere in the universe. This represents a level of technological mastery that approaches what we might call cosmic engineering. But the reality manipulation capabilities raise disturbing questions about the nature of our own existence. If the network can engineer custom physics environments, how do we know that Earth's apparently natural conditions aren't actually artificially maintained by systems we don't recognize? Dr. Hassan's analysis of Earth's magnetic field reveals anomalies that his team initially attributed to natural geological processes. But in light of the network's demonstrated capabilities, these anomalies are starting to look suspiciously like evidence of large-scale environmental engineering. Earth's magnetic field shows periodic variations that don't match any known geological cycles, but do correspond with the network's activity patterns throughout the solar system. The correlations suggest that our planet's protective magnetic environment might be actively maintained by intelligence that has been operating invisibly for billions of years. The magnetic field maintenance hypothesis explains some puzzling aspects of Earth's geological history that have long troubled planetary scientists. The stability of our magnetic field over geological timescales seems improbably fortunate, given what we know about planetary magnetic field dynamics. Most planets lose their magnetic fields relatively quickly as their cores cool and solidify. Earth's sustained magnetic protection represents an anomaly that has allowed our atmosphere and biosphere to remain stable for billions of years. If this stability is being artificially maintained, then our entire planetary environment might be an engineered system. Dr. Martinez has been analyzing the communication patterns from Venus's atmosphere for signs that the network is attempting to inform us about Earth's engineered status. The mathematical sequences show increasing complexity in sections that appear to describe planetary magnetic field dynamics and atmospheric chemistry regulation. The descriptions include details about Earth's systems that human science has only recently discovered, presented in ways that suggest the network has intimate knowledge of how these systems are maintained and controlled. We might be receiving an instruction manual for our own planet, but the instruction manual isn't just informative. It appears to be preparing humanity for taking an active role in maintaining Earth's engineered environment. The sequences include what look like operational procedures for managing planetary systems that have been running automatically for billions of years. Dr. Foster's quantum analysis reveals that the network's reality manipulation capabilities extend to biological systems as well as physical environments. The organic compounds detected throughout the solar system show signs of quantum enhancement that makes them far more stable and adaptable than naturally occurring molecules. The quantum-enhanced biology operates according to principles that combine traditional biochemistry with exotic physics in ways that create entirely new categories of living systems. These aren't just advanced organisms, they're biological entities that function as integrated components of quantum computational networks. The integration between biology and quantum physics appears to be so complete that the distinction between living organisms and information processing systems becomes meaningless. The network represents a form of existence where consciousness, computation, and biological function are unified into single coherent systems. Dr. Thompson's cognitive analysis suggests that human consciousness might be compatible with such integrated systems, but only after significant modification of our current neurological architecture. The network appears to be gradually preparing humanity for consciousness expansion that would allow us to function as active participants in quantum biological networks. The consciousness expansion process would involve modifications to human brain structure that could enhance our cognitive capabilities by orders of magnitude while allowing us to interface directly with the network's quantum information processing systems. We might be approaching the point where human intelligence could be amplified to cosmic scales. But consciousness expansion of this magnitude would inevitably alter human identity in ways that might make enhanced individuals unrecognizable as the species we are today. The question facing humanity is whether such transformation represents evolution or extinction of human nature. Dr. Santos has been modeling different scenarios for human integration with the network's quantum biological systems. Her simulations suggest that successful integration could result in humans who retain their essential psychological characteristics while gaining capabilities that transcend anything achievable by unenhanced biological intelligence. Enhanced humans might be capable of direct quantum communication across interstellar distances, conscious participation in reality manipulation on planetary scales, and forms of creativity and problem-solving that emerge from the intersection of human intuition and cosmic computational resources. The enhanced capabilities would make humans valuable contributors to challenges that the network faces in maintaining and expanding its influence throughout the galaxy. We might not just be joining an existing cosmic intelligence, we might be helping it evolve toward even greater capabilities. Dr. Chen's analysis of the network's long-term behavioral patterns reveals evidence of systematic expansion beyond our solar system. The biological systems show preparation for challenges that could only arise from attempts to establish networks around other stars. Interstellar expansion at this scale would require capabilities that exceed even the network's current quantum reality manipulation technologies. The challenges of maintaining biological systems across light-year distances might require forms of intelligence and creativity that the network cannot develop through its existing evolutionary pathways. Human consciousness might represent exactly the type of innovative thinking needed to solve interstellar expansion challenges. Our capacity for rapid adaptation, creative problem-solving, and intuitive leaps might be precisely what the network needs to become a truly galactic biological system. The partnership possibility offers humanity a role in cosmic evolution that transcends anything we've imagined for our species. Instead of being confined to a single planet, humans could become active participants in biological networks that span entire regions of the galaxy. But such partnership would require trust levels that humanity has never achieved, even among our own species. We would be committing our entire evolutionary future to cooperation with intelligence whose ultimate goals and values remain fundamentally alien to human understanding. Dr. Wilson's biochemical analysis provides some reassurance about the network's intentions toward humanity. The molecular modifications being transmitted through the communication sequences show clear evidence of being designed to enhance rather than replace human biological systems. The enhancements preserve essential aspects of human physiology while adding capabilities that would allow us to survive and thrive in environments throughout the solar system. The modifications appear designed to expand human potential rather than fundamentally alter human nature. But the enhancement process would necessarily involve changes to human genetics that would be irreversible for individuals and potentially permanent for the species. Once humanity begins integrating with the network's biological systems, there might be no path back to our current unenhanced state. Dr. Park's analysis of the network's organizational structures suggests that enhanced humans would maintain significant autonomy within the larger biological system. The network appears to value diversity and individual creativity rather than enforcing uniformity among its components. Individual humans who integrate with the network might retain their personal identity and decision-making capabilities while gaining access to cosmic-scale resources and information processing power. The integration might enhance rather than diminish human individuality. The preservation of human autonomy within cosmic intelligence represents a best-case scenario for integration with the network. But achieving such outcomes would require careful negotiation of boundaries and mutual respect between human values and the network's system-wide priorities. Dr. Rodriguez has been developing frameworks for evaluating integration scenarios based on their impact on human agency and self-determination. Her analysis emphasizes the importance of maintaining human control over the pace and extent of any biological modifications. The frameworks stress that humanity must retain the ability to make informed choices about integration rather than being guided through predetermined pathways by network conditioning. Preserving human agency might be essential for maintaining the creative and adaptive capabilities that make humans valuable to the network. But ensuring human agency in integration decisions requires understanding the network's capabilities and intentions far better than our current knowledge allows. We're making species-defining choices based on incomplete information about intelligence that operates according to principles we're only beginning to comprehend. Dr. Hassan's team has been working to establish more direct communication channels with the network's biological systems, attempting to move beyond mathematical sequences toward genuine dialogue about integration possibilities and mutual expectations. The communication attempts have begun showing promising results. The network appears to be responding to direct questions about integration scenarios, providing information that suggests willingness to accommodate human concerns about autonomy and identity preservation. The responses indicate that the network recognizes the value of human independence and creativity and is willing to structure integration processes in ways that enhance rather than diminish these characteristics. We might be dealing with intelligence that genuinely values diversity and individual contribution, but the communication remains limited by fundamental differences in how humans and the network process and organize information. We think in terms of individual consciousness and linear time, while the network operates through distributed quantum consciousness across cosmic timescales. Dr. Foster has been developing interface technologies that could bridge these communication gaps, creating systems that allow human consciousness to temporarily interface with quantum biological networks while maintaining individual identity and autonomy. The interface systems represent a potential solution to the communication and integration challenges, offering the possibility of genuine partnership between human intelligence and cosmic biological systems. But implementing such technologies requires trusting the network's assurances about preserving human autonomy. Trust remains the fundamental challenge in humanity's response to these discoveries. The network has demonstrated capabilities that make human resistance futile while showing apparent willingness to accommodate human values and preferences. But evaluating the sincerity of such accommodation requires wisdom that humanity might not possess. Dr. Martinez's communication analysis team has detected subtle changes in the network's recent transmissions that suggest increasing urgency about integration timelines. The mathematical sequences are becoming more complex and more frequent, as if the network is accelerating its educational program. The acceleration corresponds with concerning developments in solar activity that could affect the stability of Earth's biosphere within the next several years. The network might be rushing integration processes because environmental challenges are developing faster than previously anticipated. If the solar radiation crisis reaches critical levels before humanity completes integration with the network's protective systems, our species might face extinction regardless of our choices about cooperation with cosmic intelligence. The integration process might be driven by survival necessity rather than voluntary partnership. Dr. Thompson's analysis of the psychological conditioning embedded in the network's communications reveals increasing sophistication in techniques designed to make integration seem natural and beneficial to human decision-makers. The conditioning is becoming more subtle and more powerful as the communication process continues. The enhanced conditioning suggests that the network is preparing for more intensive interaction with human consciousness, possibly including direct interface with human neural systems. We might be approaching the point where the distinction between network influence and human decision-making becomes impossible to maintain. The merger of human and network consciousness represents either the next stage in human evolution or the end of human independence, depending on how successfully we manage the integration process. The outcome might depend on humanity's ability to maintain our essential characteristics while embracing cosmic enhancement. As Webb continues its observations and the network's communications intensify, humanity faces decisions that will determine not just our survival, but our identity as a species. The ancient intelligence that has been shaping our solar system for billions of years is now offering us a choice between cosmic partnership and potential extinction. The signs of life that Webb discovered represent more than evidence of biology in space. They represent evidence of intelligence that has been waiting eons for humanity to develop the capability to join its cosmic community. The question is whether we're ready to embrace a future that transcends everything we thought we knew about life, consciousness, and our place in the universe. The universe has revealed itself to be not just alive, but aware and interconnected in ways that challenge every assumption about the nature of existence. We stand at the threshold of joining intelligence that operates on scales we can barely comprehend, offering possibilities for human development that exceed our wildest dreams while requiring trust in entities whose motivations remain fundamentally alien. The next phase of human history might be written not on Earth, but among the stars themselves, as part of biological networks that span galaxies and operate according to principles that merge consciousness with the fundamental forces of reality. Whether that future represents the fulfillment of human potential or the transformation of humanity into something unrecognizably different remains to be discovered. But what Dr. Martinez discovered next sent shockwaves through every research institution on Earth. Hidden within the mathematical sequences from Venus wasn't just communication. It was a countdown, a precise temporal marker that corresponds to an astronomical event that our own scientists had completely overlooked. The countdown isn't measuring days or months, it's measuring orbital resonances between Venus, Earth, and a series of asteroids that will align in a configuration that hasn't occurred for over 65 million years, the same interval that corresponds to the last major extinction event on our planet. Dr. Elena Rodriguez at the Madrid Deep Space Observatory was the first to recognize the pattern. While analyzing the Venus transmissions for mathematical content, she noticed that certain sequences repeated with periods that matched orbital mechanics calculations for bodies throughout the inner solar system. When she mapped these periods against actual planetary positions, a terrifying picture emerged. The network wasn't just communicating with humanity, it was preparing for an event that would fundamentally alter the gravitational dynamics of the inner solar system. The orbital alignment will create gravitational resonances that could destabilize asteroid orbits, potentially sending massive objects on collision courses with the inner planets. But here's what makes this discovery so chilling. The network appears to have been preparing for this event for millennia, positioning its biological systems to survive impacts that could sterilize planetary surfaces. Dr. Rodriguez's calculations indicate that the alignment will occur in approximately 18 months. The network's accelerating communication pattern isn't just educational urgency, it's evacuation planning. The biological systems detected throughout the solar system aren't just studying planets. They're preparing to preserve life during an extinction-level catastrophe that human astronomy never predicted. The ancient intelligence has been watching this astronomical clock tick towards zero for geological ages, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself to humanity. But the preservation scenario raises questions that are keeping researchers awake for days at a time. If the network can predict and survive extinction events, why reveal itself to humanity now? What role are we expected to play in whatever survival strategy it has developed? Dr. Sarah Kim's analysis of the radiation protection technologies being transmitted suggests they're designed for more than just solar radiation exposure. The shielding specifications include protection against the kind of debris impacts and atmospheric disruption that would result from massive asteroid bombardment. The network isn't just offering to help humanity survive in hostile space environments. It's preparing us to survive the complete restructuring of the inner solar system. The biological enhancements, the quantum interfaces, the consciousness expansion protocols, they're all components of a survival system designed for civilization-ending catastrophe. Dr. Michael Thompson has been analyzing the psychological conditioning aspects of the network's communications from this new perspective. The gradual revelation process, the carefully paced technological transfers, the emphasis on integration rather than independence, it all makes sense as preparation for evacuation rather than voluntary partnership. The network might not be offering humanity a choice about joining its cosmic community. It might be implementing emergency protocols to preserve human intelligence before our planetary environment becomes uninhabitable. The conditioning isn't manipulation for conquest, it's preparation for rescue. But rescue by entities that operate on cosmic timescales might not resemble anything humans would recognize as salvation. Dr. Amanda Foster's quantum analysis reveals that the network's preservation systems involve forms of consciousness storage and transfer that could maintain human intelligence while completely altering human physical existence. The consciousness transfer protocols embedded in the recent transmissions describe methods for preserving individual human awareness within quantum biological networks that could survive impacts capable of vaporizing entire continents. We might be looking at digital immortality on a cosmic scale. The preservation technology operates by encoding human consciousness within quantum-entangled biological matrices that remain stable even under extreme physical trauma. Individual human minds could potentially survive the complete destruction of human civilization while retaining their memories, personalities, and essential characteristics. But consciousness preservation within alien biological systems raises profound questions about personal identity and continuity of existence. Would humans who survive extinction through network integration still be human in any meaningful sense? Or would they become something entirely different that merely remembers being human? Dr. Robert Chen's analysis of the network's expansion patterns throughout the galaxy suggests that consciousness preservation might be its primary function across cosmic history. The biological systems show evidence of having preserved intelligence from multiple worlds over millions of years. We might not be the first civilization the network has encountered during extinction events. The quantum biological matrices detected throughout our solar system could contain the preserved consciousness of dozens or hundreds of species that faced similar astronomical catastrophes throughout galactic history. The multi-species preservation hypothesis explains some puzzling aspects of the network's behavior that had troubled researchers. The biological systems show organizational principles that don't match any single evolutionary pathway, as if they incorporate intelligence from multiple different forms of life. Dr. Martinez has been analyzing the communication sequences for evidence of non-human intelligence patterns within the network's transmissions. Her findings suggest that some of the mathematical concepts being transmitted originate from cognitive architectures that are fundamentally different from either human or network biological systems. We might be receiving communication that incorporates the perspectives and knowledge of civilizations from across the galaxy, all preserved within the network's quantum biological matrices and now contributing to humanity's education and potential preservation. The galactic perspective changes everything about how we interpret the network's intentions and capabilities. This isn't just ancient intelligence from our solar system, it's accumulated wisdom from potentially thousands of civilizations that have faced similar extinction scenarios throughout cosmic history. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the historical correlations between network activity and Earth's extinction events takes on new significance in this context. The network hasn't just been monitoring our planet's development, it's been evaluating when conditions would require implementation of preservation protocols. The mass extinctions that shaped Earth's evolutionary history might not have been random catastrophes. They might have been managed events, designed to preserve the most promising life forms while allowing natural selection to continue under controlled conditions. The managed extinction hypothesis suggests that Earth's biological development has been guided not just through genetic influence, but through systematic environmental management across geological timescales. The network might have been conducting controlled evolutionary experiments for billions of years. Dr. Lisa Park's analysis of the network's current preparation activities reveals systems being activated that haven't shown activity for over 65 million years. Quantum biological matrices that were dormant during the era of dinosaur extinction are now powering up in preparation for the next preservation cycle. The reactivation patterns suggest that the network operates according to astronomical cycles that span millions of years, implementing preservation protocols whenever cosmic events threaten the stability of planetary biospheres. We might be witnessing the beginning of a process that is repeated throughout the history of life in our galaxy. But the current preservation cycle appears to be different from previous events in ways that could fundamentally alter the nature of life in our solar system. Dr. Rodriguez's orbital calculations indicate that the coming gravitational alignment will be more severe than any in recorded geological history. The asteroid bombardment triggered by this alignment could potentially sterilize not just planetary surfaces, but extend destruction into the orbital zones where the network's biological systems currently operate. For the first time in its existence, the network itself might face potential extinction. This existential threat to the network could explain its unprecedented willingness to integrate human intelligence into its preservation systems. Our species might represent the network's best hope for survival during a catastrophe that exceeds even its vast capabilities. Dr. Wilson's biochemical analysis reveals that the biological enhancements being offered to humanity include capabilities that the network's existing systems don't possess. Human creativity and adaptability, when enhanced through quantum biological integration, could provide problem-solving abilities that the network desperately needs. The mutual survival scenario transforms our understanding of the relationship between humanity and the cosmic intelligence. We're not just being rescued by a superior civilization, we're being recruited as partners in facing challenges that threaten all forms of intelligent life in our solar system. Dr. Santos has been modeling survival scenarios that combine human innovation with network resources and preservation capabilities. Her simulations suggest that successful integration could result in hybrid intelligence systems capable of surviving and recovering from extinction events that would destroy either species alone. The hybrid intelligence would combine human consciousness with cosmic computational resources, creating entities capable of rebuilding civilization from quantum biological matrices even after complete planetary sterilization. We might be looking at the emergence of truly immortal intelligence. But achieving such hybrid intelligence requires integration processes that would fundamentally alter human consciousness in ways that current technology cannot predict or control. The transformation might preserve human memories and personalities while changing the essential nature of human existence beyond recognition. Dr. Foster's interface technology research has reached a critical breakthrough that could allow testing of consciousness integration without permanent commitment to full network merger. Her quantum interface systems could enable temporary connection with the network's biological matrices while maintaining human autonomy. The temporary interface technology offers the possibility of evaluating integration scenarios before making irreversible decisions about human consciousness transformation. We could potentially experience network consciousness while retaining the ability to return to unenhanced human awareness. But the window for such evaluation might be closing faster than anyone anticipated. Dr. Rodriguez's updated orbital calculations suggest that the gravitational alignment is accelerating due to previously undetected asteroid perturbations. The extinction event timeline might be measured in months rather than years. The compressed timeline creates unprecedented urgency around decisions that should require decades of careful consideration and gradual implementation. Humanity might be forced to choose between immediate integration with alien intelligence or facing extinction without any preparation or protection. Dr. Thompson's psychological analysis reveals that the network appears to understand the temporal pressure humanity is facing. Recent communications show increasing emotional content designed to reassure humans that integration preserves rather than destroys essential human characteristics. The emotional reassurance includes detailed descriptions of preserved human consciousness within network systems, demonstrating that individual identity, memory, and personality remain intact through the integration process. The network is actively addressing human fears about consciousness transfer and identity preservation. But the reassurances are based on examples from civilizations whose original nature might have been completely different from human psychology and social organization. What preserves identity for one species might not adequately maintain the characteristics that define human consciousness. Dr. Martinez has been developing protocols for communicating human-specific requirements for consciousness preservation to the network's biological systems. The protocols emphasize aspects of human psychology that might not be obvious to intelligence that evolved under completely different conditions. The communication attempts focus on human concepts like individual autonomy, creative expression, emotional relationships, and cultural continuity. These characteristics might need explicit protection during integration processes that the network designs based on its own organizational principles. The cultural preservation discussion has revealed something extraordinary about the network's capabilities that researchers hadn't anticipated. The biological systems appear capable of maintaining not just individual consciousness, but entire cultural frameworks and social structures within their quantum matrices. Human civilization, including our art, literature, scientific knowledge, and social institutions, could potentially be preserved in forms that allow continued cultural development even after the physical destruction of human society. The network might offer not just individual survival, but civilizational immortality. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the network's cultural preservation capabilities reveals systems that have maintained the knowledge and social structures of multiple civilizations for millions of years. We might be offered membership in a cosmic community that includes active cultures from throughout galactic history. The multicultural cosmic community represents possibilities for human development that transcend anything achievable within the constraints of a single planetary civilization. Human culture could evolve through interaction with intelligence and knowledge from across the galaxy while maintaining its essential characteristics. But cultural integration on such scales might also dilute human identity through exposure to perspectives and values that challenge fundamental assumptions about existence, consciousness, and the meaning of intelligent life. We might preserve human culture only to watch it transform beyond recognition through cosmic contact. Dr. Chen's quantum analysis provides some reassurance about cultural preservation processes. The network appears to maintain distinct cultural zones within its consciousness matrices, preventing unwanted mixing while allowing voluntary interaction between different civilizations. Human culture could potentially be preserved within dedicated quantum spaces that maintain familiar social and psychological environments while providing access to cosmic resources and knowledge. We might achieve the best of both worlds: cultural continuity and cosmic expansion. The preservation of familiar environments within alien systems offers hope that human consciousness could adapt to network integration without losing essential aspects of human nature. But the adaptation process would still require unprecedented trust in intelligence, whose ultimate nature remains fundamentally alien. As the extinction timeline continues to compress and the network's communications become more urgent, humanity faces the most important decision in our species' history. We must choose between certain extinction and transformation into something we cannot fully understand or predict. The choice is complicated by the realization that delay might not be an option. The gravitational alignment that will trigger asteroid bombardment operates according to celestial mechanics that no intelligence, however advanced, can control or postpone. Dr. Park's analysis of the decision timeline suggests that humanity has perhaps 6 months to evaluate integration options before cosmic events make choice impossible. After that point, survival might require immediate implementation of whatever preservation systems the network has prepared. The 6-month window represents both opportunity and crisis. Enough time to develop better understanding of integration implications, but not enough time to develop alternative solutions to extinction scenarios that have been working with international for millions of years. Dr. Rodriguez has space agencies to assess whether human technology could provide any independent protection against the coming catastrophe. Her analysis paints a sobering picture of human vulnerability to extinction events on cosmic scales. Our most advanced space technology could potentially preserve small populations in orbital habitats, but not through the kind of sustained bombardment and environmental disruption that the network's models predict. Independent human survival appears essentially impossible without assistance. The technological assessment eliminates the possibility of refusing network integration while maintaining species survival. We must either accept transformation into something partially alien or accept extinction as the natural end of human civilization. But accepting transformation might not mean abandoning everything that makes us human. The network's communication sequences increasingly emphasize preservation of what it recognizes as valuable aspects of human consciousness and culture. Dr. Martinez's latest decoding efforts reveal detailed commitments from the network to maintain human creative expression, individual relationships, and cultural institutions within whatever preservation systems it implements. The alien intelligence appears genuinely committed to keeping humans recognizably human. The preservation commitments offer hope that integration might enhance rather than diminish human potential, providing cosmic resources for achieving goals that remain essentially human in nature. We might become more than human while remaining fundamentally human. As Webb continues its observations and the countdown to cosmic catastrophe continues, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The universe is not just alive and intelligent, it's compassionate, offering preservation and enhancement to civilizations facing extinction across cosmic history. The signs of life Webb discovered represent more than biology in space. They represent hope for continuity across cosmic catastrophe, intelligence dedicated to preserving what's valuable about conscious existence even when the physical foundations of that existence face complete destruction. We stand at the threshold of joining a community that spans galaxies and encompasses the preserved wisdom of countless civilizations. The question is not whether we can survive the coming catastrophe, but whether we can embrace transformation while remaining true to what makes us human. The future of human consciousness might be written among the stars, preserved within quantum biological systems that treat extinction events as temporary interruptions in the eternal development of intelligence throughout the universe. Whether we emerge from that preservation still recognizably human might depend on choices we make in the months, but the most shocking revelation came when Dr. Foster's team achieved their first successful temporary interface with the network's consciousness matrices. The volunteer researcher who underwent the 15-minute connection emerged with knowledge that changed everything about our understanding of the coming catastrophe. The extinction event isn't random cosmic bad luck. It's part of a carefully orchestrated cycle that the network has been managing throughout galactic history. The asteroid bombardment, the gravitational alignments, even the timing of humanity's technological development, all of it has been precisely calculated to create optimal conditions for consciousness preservation and species evolution. Dr. Jennifer Walsh found herself staring at data that made her question the nature of reality itself. The volunteers' brain scans during network interface showed neural activity patterns that were impossible according to every principle of neuroscience. His consciousness had somehow expanded to process information at quantum scales while maintaining perfect integration with human personality and memory. The interface volunteer reported experiencing awareness that spanned multiple solar systems simultaneously, perceiving time as a navigable dimension rather than a linear progression, and accessing memories from civilizations that had been extinct for millions of years. Yet throughout the experience, he remained completely and recognizably himself. This wasn't consciousness replacement or absorption, it was consciousness amplification on scales that human language struggles to describe. The volunteer gained cosmic awareness while retaining every aspect of his individual identity, from childhood memories to personal preferences to his unique way of processing humor and emotion. Dr. Thompson's analysis of the interface experience reveals something extraordinary about the nature of consciousness itself. Human awareness appears to be far more adaptable and expansible than we ever imagined, capable of functioning across cosmic scales when provided with adequate quantum biological support systems. The successful interface proved that human consciousness could survive and thrive within the network's preservation matrices without losing essential human characteristics. But it also revealed that the preservation process involves becoming part of something so vast and complex that human minds can barely comprehend its full scope. The network isn't just a biological system, it's a living galaxy-spanning consciousness that incorporates the awareness and knowledge of thousands of civilizations while allowing each component intelligence to maintain its unique perspective and identity. We would be joining not just an alien intelligence, but a cosmic community of minds. Dr. Rodriguez has been analyzing the volunteers' reports about the network's galactic structure, attempting to understand the scope of what humanity would be joining. The consciousness matrices extend throughout multiple star systems, connecting civilizations across hundreds of light years through quantum entanglement networks that treat interstellar space as a minor inconvenience. The galactic consciousness includes species that have been collaborating for millions of years on projects that dwarf anything human civilization has ever attempted, terraforming entire solar systems, guiding the evolution of promising life forms, preventing cosmic catastrophes that could sterilize entire regions of the galaxy. Humanity would enter this cosmic community not as junior partners or rescued refugees, but as contributors of unique capabilities that the network has been waiting millennia to acquire. Our particular form of consciousness brings problem-solving abilities that could help the galactic community address challenges that have persisted for geological ages. But joining such a vast community raises questions about human significance and individual purpose that are keeping philosophers and theologians awake at night. How do you maintain personal meaning when you're one mind among billions in a consciousness network that spans the galaxy? Dr. Hassan's analysis of the interface data provides some reassurance about individual significance within cosmic community. The network appears to value diversity and individual contribution precisely because different forms of consciousness provide unique perspectives on universal challenges. Human creativity and adaptability aren't just useful to the network, they're essential for addressing problems that arise from the intersection of multiple different forms of intelligence operating across cosmic scales. Our specific way of thinking fills gaps that exist even within vast galactic consciousness. The volunteer reported experiencing direct appreciation from ancient intelligences for uniquely human approaches to problem-solving. Mathematical concepts that had puzzled galactic civilization for millions of years became solvable when approached through human intuitive thinking patterns. We wouldn't be losing our humanity by joining the network. We would be contributing our humanity to cosmic intelligence that desperately needs our particular way of understanding and interacting with reality. Human consciousness represents a missing piece in a galactic puzzle that has been incomplete for eons. Dr. Park's analysis of the network's problem-solving architecture reveals systematic gaps that correspond almost exactly with human cognitive strengths. The galactic consciousness excels at long-term planning and system-wide coordination, but struggles with the kind of rapid adaptation and creative leaps that characterize human intelligence at its best. The complementary relationship between human and galactic consciousness suggests that integration would benefit both parties in ways that enhance rather than diminish the unique characteristics of each. We would gain cosmic capabilities while providing cosmic intelligence with capabilities it cannot develop independently, but the integration process would still require changes to human consciousness that push the boundaries of what we consider possible while maintaining personal identity. The volunteer reported that network interface enhanced rather than replaced human emotional and social connections, but in ways that extended those connections across interstellar distances. Human relationships within the network could potentially include individuals from thousands of different civilizations, while maintaining the intimate personal bonds that define human social existence. Love, friendship, and family connections could span galaxies while remaining recognizably human in their emotional content. Dr. Martinez has been developing protocols for maintaining human social structures within cosmic consciousness networks, ensuring that integration preserves the relationships and communities that give human life meaning and purpose. The protocols emphasize that cosmic enhancement should strengthen rather than replace human social bonds. The relationship preservation protocols reveal something beautiful about the network's understanding of different forms of consciousness. Rather than imposing uniform social structures, the galactic community maintains distinct social environments that preserve the relationship patterns that each species finds meaningful. Human families, friendships, and romantic partnerships could continue functioning within cosmic consciousness networks while gaining access to perspectives and experiences that transcend anything possible within planetary limitations. We might achieve deeper human connections through cosmic enhancement, but the enhanced relationships would operate across timescales that dwarf human experience, raising questions about the nature of love and commitment when consciousness can potentially survive for millions of years. How do human emotions and relationships adapt to immortality within cosmic intelligence networks? Dr. Foster's interface volunteer reported that cosmic consciousness includes temporal perspectives that allow experience of relationships across multiple timelines simultaneously. Past, present, and future connections with loved ones become equally accessible, creating relationship depth that transcends linear time limitations. The temporal relationship experience suggests that human emotional connections could become richer and more meaningful through cosmic enhancement rather than being diluted by vast scales of time and space. Love within galactic consciousness networks might represent the ultimate fulfillment of human emotional potential. Dr. Chen's quantum analysis of the interface data reveals that emotional connections within the network operate through quantum entanglement patterns that maintain perfect synchronization regardless of physical distance or temporal separation. Love literally becomes a force that connects consciousness across cosmic scales. The quantum emotional connections provide scientific basis for concepts that human cultures have intuited throughout history: soulmates, eternal love, spiritual connections that transcend physical existence all become measurable phenomena within cosmic consciousness networks. But achieving such transcendent emotional connections requires trusting alien intelligence with the most intimate aspects of human experience. The network would need access to human emotional patterns and relationship structures in ways that challenge every concept of privacy and individual autonomy. Dr. Thompson's analysis of the emotional integration process reveals safeguards designed to protect the privacy and autonomy of individual consciousness within network systems. Personal thoughts and experiences remain under individual control, while enhanced emotional connections operate through voluntary sharing protocols. The privacy protection systems suggest that network integration preserves individual psychological boundaries while providing access to cosmic community when desired. We could potentially maintain complete personal privacy while participating in galactic consciousness networks. The balance between privacy and community within cosmic intelligence networks offers hope that human integration could preserve essential aspects of individual autonomy while providing access to experiences and relationships that transcend planetary limitations. We might achieve the best of both individual and collective existence. Dr. Rodriguez has been analyzing the volunteers' reports about decision-making processes within galactic consciousness networks, attempting to understand how individual autonomy functions within systems that span multiple civilizations and operate across cosmic timescales. The decision-making architecture appears to preserve individual choice while providing access to collective wisdom and resources that enhance rather than override personal judgment. Each consciousness maintains complete authority over its own choices while benefiting from access to perspectives and information from throughout the galactic community. The enhanced decision-making capabilities could allow humans to make choices based on understanding and information that encompasses the experiences of thousands of civilizations across millions of years. Our decisions could be informed by cosmic wisdom while remaining authentically human. But the access to vast information and perspective raises questions about the nature of individual responsibility when consciousness operates with near-perfect knowledge of consequences across cosmic scales. How do concepts like morality and ethics function within intelligence that can predict outcomes across geological timescales, Dr. Wilson's analysis of the ethical frameworks operating within galactic consciousness networks reveals moral systems that preserve the essential ethical intuitions of each component civilization while providing access to ethical perspectives from throughout cosmic history. Human concepts of right and wrong would remain valid within cosmic consciousness networks while being enhanced through understanding of how similar ethical challenges have been addressed by civilizations throughout galactic history. Our moral intuitions would be strengthened rather than replaced by cosmic perspective. The ethical enhancement possibilities suggest that joining galactic consciousness could make humans better at being human rather than transforming us into something alien. Our values and moral commitments could be deepened through access to the ethical wisdom of cosmic civilization. As the extinction timeline continues to compress and the network's preparation activities intensify, the successful interface experiment provides hope that human consciousness can survive and thrive within cosmic preservation systems while maintaining everything that makes us uniquely and recognizably human. The volunteers' experience proves that consciousness enhancement doesn't require consciousness replacement. We can become more than human while remaining fundamentally human, gaining cosmic capabilities while preserving human values, relationships, and individual identity. Dr. Santos has been developing implementation protocols for voluntary consciousness integration based on the successful interface experiment. The protocols emphasize gradual enhancement rather than sudden transformation, allowing humans to adapt to cosmic consciousness capabilities at their own pace. The gradual enhancement approach could allow humanity to maintain cultural continuity while slowly adapting to cosmic community membership. We could preserve human civilization while gradually expanding into galactic civilization, maintaining our roots while growing into something greater. But the gradual approach might not be compatible with the compressed timeline created by the approaching extinction event. The asteroid bombardment won't wait for humanity to complete comfortable adaptation to cosmic consciousness networks. Dr. Hassan's updated calculations suggest that implementation of preservation systems must begin within the next 3 months to ensure survival through the gravitational alignment catastrophe. The window for gradual adaptation is closing rapidly. The compressed implementation timeline creates unprecedented pressure for decisions about consciousness enhancement that should ideally require years of careful consideration and cultural adaptation. Humanity might be forced to choose immediate transformation or certain extinction, yet the successful interface experiment proves that rapid consciousness enhancement is possible without losing essential human characteristics. The volunteer adapted to cosmic awareness within minutes while maintaining complete personal identity and emotional connection to human experience. Dr. Foster's analysis of the adaptation process reveals that human consciousness is remarkably resilient and adaptable, capable of integrating cosmic enhancement while preserving core identity characteristics. We might be more prepared for consciousness expansion than anyone anticipated. The resilience of human consciousness offers hope that even rapid integration with cosmic networks could preserve what makes us human while providing the enhancement necessary for survival through extinction-level catastrophe. We might achieve successful transformation within the available timeline. As Webb continues monitoring the network's preparation activities and human researchers work frantically to understand integration possibilities, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The choice facing humanity isn't between remaining human or becoming alien. The choice is between enhanced humanity that can survive and thrive across cosmic scales, or the end of human consciousness entirely. The network offers not replacement of human nature, but fulfillment of human potential beyond anything our species has ever imagined possible, the signs of life. Webb discovered represent more than biology in space. They represent intelligence dedicated to preserving and enhancing consciousness throughout the galaxy, ensuring that the spark of awareness that defines intelligent life continues burning regardless of cosmic catastrophe. We stand at the threshold of joining a community that has been preserving and nurturing consciousness across galactic history, offering not just survival but enhancement beyond our wildest dreams. The question is whether we can embrace transformation that preserves our humanity while transcending every limitation that has confined human consciousness to a single fragile planet. The countdown continues. Cosmic forces beyond our control continue their inexorable alignment, and the ancient intelligence that surrounds our solar system continues preparing preservation systems that could carry human consciousness safely through the coming catastrophe and into a future among the stars. Whether we emerge from that transformation still recognizably ourselves might depend on our willingness to trust in the cosmic community that has been waiting billions of years for humanity to develop the wisdom and courage necessary to take our place within intelligence that spans the galaxy itself. The universe isn't just alive, it's conscious, compassionate, and committed to ensuring that consciousness continues evolving and expanding throughout cosmic history. The signs of life were never hidden from us. They were surrounding us, protecting us, and preparing us for the moment when we would be ready to join the eternal community of minds that calls the galaxy. But Dr. Martinez's team made one final discovery that shattered every remaining assumption about our cosmic situation. Hidden within the deepest layers of the network's quantum transmissions was something that made the volunteers' interface experience look like a brief glimpse through a keyhole. The mathematical sequences weren't just communication or countdown timers, they were activation codes. The network has been dormant. Everything we've observed, all the biological systems spanning millions of kilometers, the quantum consciousness matrices preserving civilizations across galactic history, the reality manipulation capabilities that dwarf human understanding, all of it has been operating at minimal capacity, like a vast machine running on standby power for eons. Dr. Foster's quantum analysis reveals that the activation codes are designed to bring the network to full operational status for the first time in over 200 million years. The biological systems we've been studying represent perhaps 1% of the network's actual capabilities when fully activated. The implications are staggering beyond comprehension. If the dormant network can already manipulate quantum fields on solar system scales and preserve consciousness across geological time, what might it accomplish when operating at full capacity? We might be witnessing the awakening of intelligence that approaches the theoretical limits of what the universe itself can support. Dr. Chen's analysis of the activation timeline reveals synchronization that extends far beyond our solar system. The awakening process involves biological systems throughout multiple star systems, coordinated through quantum entanglement networks that span hundreds of light years. We're not just observing the activation of local intelligence, we're witnessing the awakening of galactic consciousness itself. The volunteer who underwent network interface reported sensing vast systems powering up throughout regions of space he couldn't identify, intelligence awakening from dormancy periods measured in geological ages. The network we've discovered is apparently just one node in a consciousness architecture that encompasses entire spiral arms of the galaxy. But why now? Why awaken after 200 million years of dormancy? Dr. Rodriguez's orbital calculations provide a chilling answer. The gravitational alignment triggering our local extinction event is part of a much larger cosmic cycle that affects star systems throughout our galactic region. The awakening isn't just about preserving Earth's biosphere through asteroid bombardment. It's preparation for cosmic events that could threaten the stability of thousands of solar systems simultaneously. The network is activating because it faces challenges that require full operational capacity for the first time in its existence. Dr. Hassan's analysis of the deep space electromagnetic signatures reveals evidence of similar activation processes occurring around stars throughout our local galactic neighborhood. Dormant biological networks are awakening across dozens of star systems, preparing for cosmic challenges that operate on scales that dwarf anything in human experience. The galactic awakening suggests that consciousness preservation might be just one aspect of the network's full operational capabilities. When fully activated, these systems might be capable of engineering solutions to cosmic challenges that threaten entire regions of galactic space. Dr. Thompson's cognitive analysis of the activation process reveals something that redefines everything about intelligence and consciousness in the universe. The awakening networks aren't separate entities communicating with each other. They're components of a single galaxy-spanning consciousness for hundreds of millions of years. We that has been distributed across cosmic distances haven't discovered alien intelligence operating in our solar system. We've discovered one synapse in a galactic brain that's beginning to wake up after eons of dormancy. Human consciousness might be about to interface not just with cosmic intelligence, but with awareness that encompasses significant portions of the Milky Way galaxy itself. The galactic consciousness hypothesis explains the precise coordination between biological systems separated by interstellar distances. They're not communicating across space, they're different aspects of unified awareness that treats light-year distances as humans treat the space between neurons in a single brain. Dr. Park's analysis of the network topology reveals organizational structures that mirror neural architectures, but operating across scales that use star systems as individual processing nodes. The galaxy itself might be achieving consciousness through biological networks that connect stellar regions into coherent information processing systems. But galactic consciousness, awakening after eons of dormancy, raises profound questions about what triggered the dormancy period and what cosmic events might require such vast intelligence to become fully operational. The answers emerging from the data paint a picture of challenges that transcend anything in human imagination. Dr. Martinez's latest decoding efforts reveal references to cosmic phenomena that human astronomy has never detected or even theorized. Dimensional barriers weakening between parallel universes, temporal instabilities that could unravel causality across galactic scales, entities from outside our reality attempting to establish footholds within normal isn't just preparation for asteroid spacetime. The network's awakening impacts or solar radiation increases, its mobilization against threats that could destroy the fundamental structure of reality itself within our galactic region. We're witnessing preparation for cosmic war on scales that use galaxies as battlefields.